What's going on, everyone? This is BMT coming at you. And I thought I wanted to actually do a conversation with you guys. That we need to break some bread. And it's pretty much coming to, I don't always step in this field, but I feel like I definitely want to do this. Because we have a lot of people that wanted to bring up about Jada and Will and August Alsina. And I listen respectfully. And I wanted to talk to people about the energies of sexuality. And, we just been seeing a whole lot of people try to speak on something that they don't have no type of degree or measure in. And I'm going to tell you right now, like a lot of these people probably should learn to keep their mouth shut or just shut the fuck up. Because what I see that they got going on is something very beautiful, very promising. That, let's just be honest, some of y'all wish y'all could do. You see, Will and Jada are a power couple. And naturally, as a power couple, they're going to have that set energy and that set inertia to draw people in. You see, you have to sneak around and do your little things of looking at somebody when you walk around in a grocery store, or you have to watch what you say around your mate or your partner. Will and Jada don't have to do that. They just say what they say. And the thing about that is you are hating because you can't say the same things that they say because you don't command or have that set authority in your relationship. And you see, that's a pathetic relationship because I'm finding it very egregious that we have it where broke penises and vaginas try to critique Will and Jada. I mean, Will and Jada, these ain't any old bodies or people. These are people that made millions of dollars. Movies, they're icons. And you got people who can't even doggone get their girl to go make them a box of cereal. You got females who can't even get their man to doggone take out the trash without begging and nagging him. And they're trying to critique a power couple. Like, these are literally the Obamas of Black Hollywood. Like, they're not just any old bodies. And you see, that's the problem with relationships these days. See, a lot of y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't be real and open like Will and Jada are about how they are with their sexuality, their passion and desire. That literally, you know what, guess what? We're of age now. We're grown. We ain't got to lie about our stuff. Those are two grown adults. But everybody has a certain type of critique or say so about what they do and let all the stuff that they done contributed, how they done raised their children, how they done built an empire, a legacy. They have their own shows. And people always have something to say. Our people don't know when to learn and when to teach and when to do both. You know, and the thing that's so crazy about it is, I don't know why y'all talk about different cultures, different mindsets, and you're looking at a culture that is past you. I'm sorry, did your son go to Flint, Michigan and give water to those who needed it and make water filtration devices? Oh, wait, that was Will and Jada's child. Were you the man who went and helped other black men get into the door? That was Will. And were you the woman that literally gave women a platform to speak openly about said controversies in Hollywood, music, industries, freely? That was Jada. And so those two are moving at a power level you can't comprehend. And what irritates me is that they have had different times, they have talked about spirituality. They're not religious people like you and I. They're spiritual people. And I very much dig that because literally they talk about connecting with different people, but they also talk about raising a family, building up a legacy, an empire. And so in these interviews and stuff that have happened, did you see Jada freak out when Will made the comment about, I miss my old wife? Jada didn't freak out. Jada didn't complain. She already knew how Will felt about that. She knew. Most of y'all can't handle if your girl tells y'all you're good in bed, but guess what? My old nigga, he fucks better. You couldn't handle that shit. Most of y'all niggas will probably ball up and cry. Go in the bathroom and beat your meat and hopefully be on some kind of stalker mode for that nigga that she fucked damn 3 years ago. Your dick doesn't unlock the keys in her mind like you think you do. So when you're saying that if Jada was my bitch, well, nigga, get your bitch in line. You couldn't keep your bitch from going down there to get child support on you. How the fuck you gonna talk about Jada and Will? Now let me get back to the women. The women that saying that Jada is trash. Jada don't have any class. She's below or beneath y'all. You telling me the woman that went up against Hollywood, knowing that she could possibly be blacklisted, she's trash for her man? Most of you bottom bitches won't even speak up for your man if he was getting railroaded right there in front of you. You probably turn the other cheek. You won't put shit on the line like she did. Why do you think Jada doesn't have her own show? Why do you think she's blacklisted? Because she spoke up for her man. Did y'all forget that? But here you're trying to critique a woman that screwed up her Hollywood career for her man. And he supports her. Y'all don't understand said loyalty in a relationship. Y'all don't understand the said things that go on in the household. That's why I said, like, y'all talk about y'all kings and queens and pharaohs. The king had many concubines. The king had many concubines. And the queen, she had many little playthings. But see, y'all motherfuckers don't know this shit. This is why I say y'all stick to talking about making Kemp oils and dashikis and all that lame shit. Don't talk to me about no sexual energy and power. Y'all don't, y'all, and let's be for real. Some of y'all women can't even get your man hard. You know he going down the street fucking another bitch. And only thing you say, well, that's why you get mad when he's more happy down the street with another man rather than your funky ass. This is why a lot of y'all are jealous. This is why none of y'all women should be fixing y'all lip. If that man is paying your bills, making sure you and your children have. But see, let's just be honest. He's doing his moral obligation of putting up with you. But you want to know why a lot of these men turn and flip out on that woman? You want to know why? Because deep down, he spiritually and sexually doesn't really fuck with you. See, that's why a lot of y'all women are upset. You're upset because you're upset at Jada because Jada knows that even though Will ain't on that level with her like that anymore, he's still the provider in the home. He still supports her. Hell, let me pull that up. Because this takes a lot right here. I want to make sure I show this. There's the young buck, August, Alsina, Jada, and Will. August Alsina claimed he was in a relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith for years that Will Smith approved. R&B singer August Alsina claimed that Jada Pinkett Smith had an affair for years with Will, but they had Will's blessing. See, the thing about it, and this is let's just. I know I'm talking to lower vibrations of fruit. You telling me Will told her, I give you permission to fuck with him. She went to her man that y'all had the audacity to call a beta because he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'd rather know who you're dealing with than you creeping behind my back. Who you dealing with? You don't think he don't know everything about him? About August Alsina? August Alsina is only worth $4 million. Will Smith's son is worth $8 million. You think Will Smith is worried about him? He was making that type of money before he even got good in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This man been in the game for how long? He's never going to get nowhere close to Will. He's never going to ever be a threat to Jada. Jada Pinkett Smith has been in the game for so long. Y'all make it seem like she can't call up no young buck and literally say, come lick my damn coochie out right now. You don't think these young boys ain't going to try to get a tap at that? She chose him, not the other way around, because Will picked him because he saw he was not a threat to him. That's power. That's why that's the thing about it. I approve of open sexual relationships. When I was trying to talk about it on a black people, the dude said I couldn't do that if my woman do that, and I'm like, nigga, you don't know what your woman does when you go to work. You don't know. She don't know what you do when you say you going to your mama's house. She don't. See, because we like to pretend and see. I don't believe in motherfuckers when they get online and they talk about their precious life and everything's good and hunky dory. I'd be like, this motherfucker's lying. They lying. I was talking to Melissa, and I was talking to our friend and Dawn, and I was like, I prefer an open marriage than secrets, because my job, even if we fall out of it or we have set issues, I'd rather be real with you and live up to my set obligation and take care of our children and our family and our household. Some of you motherfuckers, you can't handle your mate telling you, you don't get me wet anymore when you walk through the door, nigga. That shit hurts. So you want access or want some set energy out of a person who really ain't feeling you like that. Why? It says right here, August Alsina just released a new album. While discussing the LP, the American singer took a deep dive into alleged romance with Jada Smith. During the promotional run of his new project, The Product 3, okay, accompanying his 5-part documentary docu-series, the 27-year-old singer sat down with Angela Yee to discuss his controversial relationship with Jada. August Alsina claimed that he and the actress were romantically involved and that he only decided to speak his truth in an effort to clear his name. People have whatever ideas that they like, but what I'm not okay with is my character being in question, he said at around the 16:30 mark. Contrary to what some people may believe, I'm not a troublesome. I'm not a troublemaker. I don't make drama. Actually makes me nauseous. I also don't think it's ever important that people know what I do, who I sleep with, who I date, right? But in this instance, there are so many people who are side-eyeing me. I've lost money, friendship, relationships behind it. I think it's because people don't necessarily know the truth. But I've never done anything wrong. I love those people, the Smiths. They are beautiful people, he added. August Alsina went on to state that the relationship wasn't a secret affair, suggesting Jada Pinkett and her husband, Will Smith, had an open marriage. Now, let's be for real. Let's look at that. And I'm gonna tell you right now. Whenever it comes to a higher power, right? Two things happen. Him not being a married person and her being a married person, automatically they're going to look at it like, as a man, you are the villain off the rip. Even if she openly says that, you know what, me and Will are talking. And I told y'all, like, in society, most patriarchal society, a woman's going to be known, even if her man is cool with it, it's never going to be equal. They're going to always see that woman as a whole. Even if her man says, you know, it's okay, live your best life, you know what I mean, shit, they can be broke up. And she says, you know, I'm just going to go date. ain't nothing serious. I'm gonna just go date. I ain't gonna be fucking any of that. That woman gonna still be known as a hoe. She's just gonna be known as a hoe. Me and Mimi can have said issues, and we have had our said issues and demons. And we've had our times where we had not been together a lot. But one thing I knew was, regardless of however I felt at the time, I needed to set aside them bitch feelings and doggone take care of my several responsibilities of my children and any kind of said bills or stuff I have brought upon her. That literally, I'm going to do what I need to do. You have to do what you need to do. And she understood that, and I understood that. And we made our moves. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have that said type of energy and commitment anymore. You just don't. You got people who would rather put their hands on somebody because they can't get out that same said energy that they want, that somebody else can bring out of them. Why live in a household where it's so dreaded like that? You know, and see, this is why I don't have these said conversations too much with people. I don't. Because I understand that the level of energy that it is for that, people don't think like that. Hey, what's going on, Caroline? Caroline, you want to come on up? Caroline, come on up. Come on up, Caroline. I told you, Caroline, you want to rock with BMT today. I welcome you. I welcome you to come on up. Let's talk. Let's have relationship talk about this one. You can join me for this one. Because I'm seeing why a lot of relationships are having said issues. Let's be honest. Some relationships, some marriages. You see, in a marriage, right? If y'all separate, you get separated for 365 days. You're supposed to be separated. Okay. Now, when you get separated, for whatever that may be, most of the time, people start trying to feel themselves out, see if it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Try different things or different people, whatever said things to get things out of their system. Usually during a breakup or whatever. Now, here's the interesting thing. For a good portion, people get back together. I've seen it. Oh, you liked it, Elise? People get back together. The thing about it is this. Jada was never going to leave Will. Jada was never going to leave Will. And Will is never going to leave Jada. I don't know why y'all keep thinking that. These two are old, living their best life. They done raised their children. They're making money. See, August Alsina, he was not ready for that type of energy that Jada had. Will was fine with that. Will doesn't mind that. He didn't know just how freaky those two got down. Hang on, let me grab these pictures. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, some of y'all just don't bring out that inner freak out of out of doggone Will and Jada. Like they are natural freaks. Like for long as we known these two, Will and Jada have always been freaks. They've always been freaks. They talk about it. They talk about freaky shit all the time. They do a lot of adventurous shit. If they don't mind doing adventurous shit, if they don't mind sucking on each other's neck in front of people, and like I said, like swingers by night, Jada Smith relishes Will's sex scenes so much many would find rather voyeurism weird. Like I told y'all, like this ain't nothing new. Listen, I like freaky shit. I like nasty shit. Yeah, listen, man. Do y'all know what it's like to doggone get y'all balls sucked and doggone while you playing PlayStation? And she said like eat me out from the back and shit. I love that shit. I like being nasty. Nasty is the way of life. See, that's the thing about y'all. Y'all want to be all holy art and thou clean. Fuck that. Be your inner freak. Ain't nothing like sticking your dick through a grapefruit and getting your meat sucked by a doggone fucking playing queen. That's why I love Jen Hiko when she was playing Pussy Fairy. Ain't none of y'all. You ever try to eat pussy under or give head under in a swimming pool? You know how much discipline you got to have underwater to hold your breath and please that person and doggone suck on their juices while underwater. That shit's dangerous. But that shit be turning me on and getting me rock hard. Like I said, man, like don't get mad because y'all shit's boring. These two have always been freaks. I pray that they never change. Swingers by night, Jada Pinkett Smith relishes Will's sex scene so much. Many would find her voyeurism weird. She gets turned. Do you know what that means? Jada gets turned on knowing Will is fucking other women. That shit is beautiful. Hey, what's going on, Caroline? What's going on? Welcome. We having a midnight adult talk.
I see.
I welcome. I know, and I'm so happy that you came. I so want you to come more often. I'm not always like this, but we're just having a talk. Have you heard about the Will and Jada thing that came up?
I have a little bit of a different outlook on some of that stuff, just from
Go ahead.
some of the rabbit holes that I've been down.
Go ahead.
I think there is a whole different set of motivations and ties that are going on there. There is, for most people, if they don't know, allegations against Mr. Smith from former associates in the music industry that there is a real kind of agenda of homophobic activity that is being utilized to emasculate the men that are seeking to become involved in the industry. And it goes into ties of some of the old cabal kind of practices and some of the old elite practices where You look into these darker aspects and these darker rabbit holes and stuff like that, you begin to see that this is all a ritual. Now, from an unhealthy standpoint, none of that's healthy. But when a healthy man and healthy woman come together the way they're meant to, as God meant to, and you are both resonating the same frequency, resonating the same truth, resonating from a connection that, is healthy and a loving connection, that's when real mastery begins. That's when real perfection and masterful joinings happen.
Okay.
And it does kind of go back to the conversation that we were having before, where you had said, why are Black men so angry? Why are the women so resentful? A lot of it goes back to this. It goes back to the men having their power taken from them. And from that understanding, you go back to a scenario that's basically made to split up the families. So you've got, a man that becomes weaponized by his carnal desire. And that man at that point, if his parents were not in a loving and healthy union and he didn't become conceived from a loving and healthy union, that goes into the grounds of being chaotic breeding and chaotic mating. And we as women have basically stargates, is the way I look at it. We have a stargate where all life can come from. But when you have a healthy aspect to both the male and the female, especially if they're alpha men and alpha females, let's get onto that conversation.
Okay. You're going
When you get a healthy male and a healthy female together, they are united. They're united through love. They're united through purpose. They're united through family. They're united through, the very act of sharing that one skin from a biblical sense. And the fruit of those unions are healthy, centered, balanced, spiritual awakenings.
Now, I got a question. Now, here's the thing I want to ask. Jada and Will, they raised their children and everything out the house. And they said, okay, we played the good parents. Now they're like, well, guess what? I want to enact some of my said stuff. And one of her said comments was she used to get turned on watching Will have sex with other women. And Will would also reciprocate that he enjoyed. I think one time he talked about he enjoyed watching his wife make out with Trey Songz. Now, Trey Songz is younger than Jada. Do you think it's innately their nature that they just enjoy? They have that sexual energy and spirit where they're like, hey, let's just enact our fantasies, or is that dangerous?
Well, I mean, you're getting into what could be exception territory. I'll put it that way. When you have a healthy couple that comes together, if they're on the same page and that works for them, fine. Do what you do. I got no qualms with it. I mean, as long as you're not involving animals and chicken and children and all that stuff, we're all good. I don't care if y'all, enjoy piss play or whatever. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters to me. What matters to me is when you have people that are involved in these whole other lives, basically, where they are doing dark practices and they're utilizing what was supposed to be a healthy God-given act for connection. Because when you have a healthy mating between a healthy man and a healthy woman, God made us the way he did to be able to have those perfect unions create oxytocin in our brain. And that is basically the chemical bond between a healthy couple. Now, as I said, I've got a whole nother set of rabbit holes that I've been down in terms of both of them. And I think that they are incepted by choice, by unhealthy beings and unhealthy practices. And a lot of these celebrities like that basically are, once they get into the game and they get, they get accepted into these higher circles, they're forced to do more explicit and more degrading acts. And some people, whether you want to say it's human nature or not, some people actually enjoy that. They enjoy embracing the carnal, feelings and the carnal situations of the body. And, if we go from a conversation like that, it changes the scope of everything. It really does. It changes the scope of whether or not, they're ramping up their fantasies, basically, whether they're ramping up their fantasies in such a way as you start to understand that they're trying to fill a hunger.
Okay. Now let me hit it there. So for me, and I haven't gone into all of my history, but I have a immense sexual addiction. It's just something I have. And the thing about it was, would it have been fruitful? Would it have been more beneficial if I keep that from my woman? I think the problem is we all have some type of entity of something on of us that we deal with. It's just that we're afraid of this every action of showing our vulnerability towards our mate. When it comes to the Smiths, I think they detach themselves from that type of barrier where they're like, I have my said things, you have yours. And in their eyes, I think, and this is just me, I know some people who like it when is that fantasy of knowing that you are out there. Do you think of me? And there's a song, Do You Think of Me When You're With Her? Who sings that song?
It's an Alanis Morissette song. It's
Do
give
you
me a
think
second.
do you think of me when you're with her? And the fact about that, and like I said, no secret lives. And the thing about it is August Alsina, I think the thing about it for him, and thank you, Snake Charmer, he could not handle that said type of energy that Jada was putting out. And what I'm saying about that, and this happens a lot in relationships, where a guy or girl, they'll tell themselves, if I get with Snake Charmer, and I know Snake Charmer from what I heard, she's a freak. She's very explicit. But see, when I got with her, when I get with her, I'm like, whoa, I can't contain this type of energy. And she starts to pick up on that. I can't satisfy her the way that energy of hers is just too big. So then after a while, she's like, you know what? You're just not there. So what happens is this, that Will and Jada understand that, listen, Jada, you have your ways. You want that type of guy. We'll go ahead and pick him up. But mind you, in the understanding of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. I agree. You can only reveal what you can handle. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it was this: Jade, the young man, he could not handle the sexual energies that she was putting out. That was something.
Okay, so he was a beta male.
Now you're following. Now you're following, because understand in that said nature, if he could have handled, and this is the thing about it, take it from me. I used to be the side man. I knew my lane. I knew my set energy. I could never at that point in my life, I wasn't ready to be that man. And so I understood my lane, that she did have a guy. Okay. This is for me as the side man. And I understood that the woman that I was dealing with, she had a guy. She said, listen, you don't contact me from goddamn 7 a.m. to goddamn 3 o'clock. That is family time. You don't talk to me. Okay. At 4 to 7, you can text me and let me know if you're free. And around 11 to 12, 11 to 2, you can call me and we might be able to set something up. Now, once the rules are laid out, you can have sex with me to here, but none of that type of play, because understand this: if you mess up my walls and my man start to wonder what's going on, or I can't do a certain thing for him, nigga, contract is over. So once the rules were laid out by the mistress or the lady, that was it. And I asked her one time, and I remember I said, "Oh, you know what? I saw your man before. He be coming out there to the pool hall." She said, "I know. He's out there with his little chickies, and I got you." And I'm like, "Whoa, that is crazy."
And it works for some people.
It do.
And for some people, if they're both on the same page and what have you, that's fine. If
Mhm.
that's what works for them, that's fine. That's not my place to say whether it's wrong or whether it's right or whatever. But what you end up getting into in situations like that is, at least from what I've seen,
Mhm.
you've got potential, and it's not always the case, but you've got potential folks that,
Mhm.
may have some sort of trauma in their background
Right.
that are acting that out. They're acting that out. If you've had any kind of researching and looked into, statistics with folks that have been in traumatic situations and stuff like that,
Mhm.
they have a more promiscuous background because of those traumas. They're going to behave in a more promiscuous way.
Right.
They're going to continue to push those boundaries within themselves to basically enact the same kind of screwed up sensation of fulfillment that they had through those traumas.
That's
And
true.
that's a scenario where you're dealing with like the guilt and the shame of having a trauma like that in your background,
I,
because they form very real attachments to you.
now, okay, so you brought up a good point. I'm gonna say this: mentally damaged people seek out mentally damaged people.
Yep.
Now, the reason why I say that, I used to purposely look for mentally broken people because it felt good that I got issues and you got issues, and guess what? I mean, shit. When we lay together in that passion of sin and under the sheets or but in the car seat or wherever, it did nothing mattered. It was us getting off our said addiction, and I felt good, but I'm taking your energy and your pain, and you're indulging with me in that, and I didn't want to be with anybody so righteous and have this shit. I didn't like it. I don't like being with people who got their shit together. That's just me. I'm weird like that. I need somebody who's fucked up just like me, because that way I know that, guess what? My broken pieces can only be fixed by you, and you can fix by me. And see, the thing about it is, Will goes into explicit details about his fucked up past, that stuff he went through. And Jada talks about how her mom was fine with her being out there in the streets. They both just come from two different lifestyles. And the thing about it is on this is that the functionality is some people know how to complete other people, if that makes any sense. We look at it as
It does.
we look at it as dysfunctional because we're not in their shoes. Like, I know some men who don't mind washing, cooking, and cleaning. And I know some women, they will go outside and push a lawnmower, doggone do all the yard work like a man. And literally they're doing the jobs. It's just that they're switching roles. But now when it comes to the freaky part, that, like Jada was saying, she implied that, listen, I enjoy watching those scenes on Bad Boys with Will Woo-san, a chick, because I want him to think of me and what I'm gonna do, or how I'm gonna punish him or anything or stuff like that. Like, I know some people who seriously used to do that. Hell, I do that myself, and so Will's also the same way, where that turns him on. I know people who like to watch. This is a little thing I used to love doing this thing a voyeurism, where I would watch my playmate have sex with another person. I used to like watching, sit there, smoke a cigar, and just watch and enjoy. Now, as I would watch and enjoy, it was just the sheer fact that if I walked there and I pulled her hair or her choke collar, it would stop. So I always had that set ability to stop it, but I would always enjoy it. And it was more of a sexy, kinky role. I didn't feel nobody.
Well,
Go
and
ahead.
that just goes with boundaries and stuff. And like I said, if it's a healthy couple, do what you do. But there are definitely principalities that do kind of come into these scenarios.
Go ahead.
And when you've got trauma and stuff like that in your background, when you've got an addiction in your background, things like that, I mean, why do they say we struggle against not flesh and blood, but principalities? They're very real things.
True,
If
true.
you've ever researched anything about what happens on the set of adult films and stuff like that, there's a very dark, very heavy presence that's there.
Mhm.
And when you said that there are broken people find broken people, well, it goes back to that same, it's like a frequency. The frequency matches. And when you find a healthy partner, or at least find a matching frequency, good things can happen. Bad things can happen too,
True.
and understanding each other's boundaries and understanding each other's, I guess, more or less your psyche. That's really about delving into and doing your own shadow work and understanding the things that make you tick, and understanding the things that, not just thresholds per se, but understanding like what you can handle. And if that person can't handle or is uncomfortable with facets that you enjoy, then obviously it's not going to be a healthy union. It's not going to be a healthy scenario. And you can't push that on anybody. You can't force that on anybody. But, there is such a spirit of powered sexuality that's going around and has been for so long through as you said, movies and just society in general. It's a basically like a weaponization of sexuality. And you can take and turn that into a healthy thing if both parties are healthy. If both people are healthy and they understand the rules, they set up the groundwork, they set up the conversations to have with each other about what chemistry works and what scenarios work and what safe words are if you need those and all of that kind of stuff, you reach a really masterful result. And I've had many conversations with lots of different people about specifically talks like this, where it's like, how do you get your girlfriend to open up about this or open up about that? And it's about whether or not you're comfortable to have those conversations. If you can't talk about what your own boundaries are, again, kind of like a full circle, if you can't discuss openly between each other what is healthy, what you like, and you're uncomfortable about voicing those things, then you're not in the right spot, and there is reasons for that. There's reasons for a lot of these things that are going on. There's specific media-driven agendas that are being played out as well, with a lot of things that are sex-based, and a lot of things that are going on that we're witnessing, that we're being saturated by as a culture. To understand that, women are embracing their power, they're embracing their femininity, they're embracing their sexuality, they're embracing their roles. And, there is a short supply of these beta alpha males and these strong males, because you can be a strong beta male and still, be the perfect companion for another beta female or an alpha female. But everybody has a place, everybody has their own voice, everybody has their preferences. And to get yourself to a greater understanding, there are different practices that you can utilize where you solely focus on breathing and getting your breathing into union with each other. And then you continue on through those minimal contact situations where you're slowly building up sensation and drawing it out over a long period of time. And you end up with a whole different experience. When the joining is masterful, you have things that happen within our bodies as females that literally get men hooked. And understanding the way our own bodies work and understanding the way our minds work. And I mean, at least as women, our biggest organ for intimacy is our brains. Everything else is secondary. But it has a lot to do with understanding each other and understanding the other person's frequency. Because when you can understand the frequency and you can find a frequency that rocks with yours, music is made and it becomes a symphony. And if that's what works for some people, like I don't really understand the whole concept of polyamory, but I know it works for people. I'm not going to judge them or talk down to them or condemn them for their behavior, but I know just personally for me that's not for me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And when you are able to get to a higher level of understanding of yourself, your brain, your body, basically your own boundaries, if you have any,
right.
A physiological change happens within our bodies in such as a way, if you arouse a woman enough and there's enough of a bond or enough of chemistry there, her body is going to react differently, and you begin to crave one another because of that masterful union. It becomes as necessary and as vital as breath, as air, as food, more so in some instances.
Mm.
So, there's a lot of stigma and a lot of stipulations that kind of go into that stuff. But you have to be willing to hear the other person. You have to be willing to step out of your own comfort zone if you're able to, and explore that side, see where it takes you, and go from there.
Okay. Well, we're going to cut it, and actually, you need to come back, Caroline. You know
I
you
do. I
definitely
do.
have to come back. Like I said, I just wanted to do a light little talk, but I definitely want you to come back through. And like I said, I'm sure you're gonna be brushing through the catalog on some of the stuff, so that way you can start getting a more of a feel of how we talk and what we talk about. And I definitely want you to come through and have the said conversation. And also, feel free. What's going on, y'all? Feel free to please put in. We also take requests on certain things. We do take in requests. So I will definitely want to see you come through and put in some stuff that you would like for us to talk about, and we'll sit down and talk about it. Like
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? That's just one of the sad things that we would love to do. Sit down and have
Well,
this conversation.
I poked in on, I think, an earlier stream from today, and I zipped through it. It was the one where you had all the people on there, and just listening to some of that for a few minutes. And
How do you feel about that one?
there, good Lord, there is so much fire and so much real and so much intensity there. That I think that your idea of having the panel where you get everybody, across the board to sit and talk is going to make a big, profound impact. Because, like I said, the area that I'm from around here,
Mm-hmm.
it would be, to break it down for anybody else, for anybody that doesn't live here, it would be a reverse scenario of what most of Black America deals with. And that's in my own community.
Well,
and it's always been that way. It's always been that way. And I've never been able to understand it. I mean, I get most of it, but, understanding the diversity and understanding where these people's hearts are and understanding why people have the perceptions and the verbiage that they do and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's invaluable to be able to bring these talks to the table.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to, and like I said, check through them, check through the catalogs, and I want to hear your said opportunity of what you think, and like I said, maybe it's stuff that we can discuss and build on, and literally, there's a lot of stuff that I think that we can discuss and go over, or things that we can go over. It's gonna be a rough journey, I can promise you that. However, if you're willing to have the said talks, I'm all for it. I'm all for these said discussions. You know.
I'm down for it too, because, like I said earlier, having these conversations are going to be where the start of real change happens. And the more that we can begin to have these talks, this virus in a very real essence gave everybody a pause button and has enabled us to have more time to do these works at home, to have these conversations on these platforms, because life has slowed down, and it gives a lot of us the opportunity, those of us that struggle with, say health issues or other issues, the opportunity to have a mirror reflected back at us. And from the conversation and the topic this evening, if you can't look in that mirror and accept all of those different pieces of the reflection that's there and go forth to share that with another person, if just that one act of making yourself vulnerable to yourself, makes you uncomfortable, then, you need to kind of have a rethink about whether or not you are operating to your full potential. Because to be able to open up and to have that openness and be able to have that masterful experience, you have to be able to accept yourself and love yourself and understand yourself first and foremost. And that's a tie, that whole conversation right there, that goes to anything. That can be tied and segued into 1,000 other conversations.
That is so true. Well, you guys, I'm going to cut this one. We did an hour, and I know I got to go take a dog to the vet tomorrow. Well, today. I thank you for coming out, love. Always please come on through some more, and come chill with us, and hopefully we can definitely get you. I'm telling you right now, you will definitely fit in on these conversations, and you can be and have the good conversations with us. Um, I think there'll be some really good. And tell some if you know any other people, don't matter the background diversity. Say, hey guys, I know a place we can go and have conversations with everybody, like literally, like everybody. So, and I'm up for it, and I'm all down for having the conversations. Um,
Absolutely. I have one of my fellow YouTube creators. I brought her over with me to this stream, so she's lurking, but she's over here too, and she's part of the same communities that I am, and they very much support all of the different platforms. They support all of the different creators, and they are really good people. And I think if everybody could get together.
Hello? I don't hear her.
I'm here.
Yeah, I guess it's acting funny, but I don't know why it did that. But
My phone gets funny on me sometimes.
yeah, that happened. But other than that, you guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm probably, like I said, tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna do a live tomorrow, but I literally have already this week alone. I've done over 15 lives. 15. So I gotta take me a break. But I'm gonna let y'all go. Much love to all of y'all. Y'all have a good night.